Live from our 7 Tasmania studios, your nightly news with Kim Miller begins now.
Good evening, everyone. First tonight, the biggest infrastructure project in our state's history is a step closer, with funding arrangements announced for Marinus Link. Federal government concessional loans of more than $3 billion have been agreed to help pay for the energy interconnector.
Clarity for the much anticipated Marinus Link. Finally, an announcement on who's going to pay for the giant energy cable to mainland Australia.
To get what's been a project that's been discussed for a long period of time into reality, to get this project moving.
A low-cost loan from the federal government's Clean Energy Finance Corporation will fund roughly 80% of the cable and infrastructure on the northwest coast. The Commonwealth, Victorian and Tasmanian governments will share the remaining cost and ownership.
We have been able to reduce the annual cost of operating Marinus Link by just short of half.
Tasmanians are being promised they'll pay no more than 15% of the total amount.
Customers will pay some transmission costs towards Marinus Link, however they'll pay less in terms of the actual energy being delivered, and on balance that cost is going to be lower.
A rule change is needed to ensure mainland customers can be charged. That's been agreed upon by all parties but is yet to be implemented.
We will progress with that rule change to the independent regulator.
The funding package also includes a $1 billion loan for pumped hydro at Sathana and the Tarraleah Power Station redevelopment. It's a green light for green energy projects slated for the state.
$7 billion worth of investment in clean energy, renewable future. That is so terribly exciting.
What this will do firstly is to allow civil construction across the north of the state for probably the next 50 years with pumped hydro and other projects.
But those opposed to widespread renewable projects say it's a dark day for Tasmania.
Ought we not to be thinking about reducing energy demand or distributing energy on rooftops rather than building new infrastructure and smashing biodiversity?
While landowners could be affected by developments.
Will you commit to ensuring the owners of primary production land affected by transmission lines will be fairly compensated?
A transmission, let's be frank, does have its issues in terms of community support, because these are big projects which need careful management, they need consultation, they need respect shown to communities.
Work on the cable's business case will continue before a final investment decision in 2024. Josh Duggan, 7 Tasmania News.
A 19-year-old passenger involved in a crash on the Midland Highway near Oatlands last week has died. The West Australian teen was taken to the Royal Hobart Hospital on Friday in a critical condition after the car he was in collided with a truck. The driver, also 19, died at the scene. Investigators are still working to determine the cause of the crash. The Prime Minister has made a lightning visit to flood-affected communities in the state's northwest. He came offering financial assistance as rural communities count the cost of the record-breaking rainfall.
Latrobe farmer Michael Perkins knows all too well the impact of flooding. His dairy farms escaped the worst this time around, but just 6 years ago he lost a quarter of his herd.
This time we didn't lose any, we actually gained 4 that were born during the flood, so we're a long way ahead of where we were.
But the river's rise hasn't come without its costs.
There's a lot of logs and silt and debris that's come down the river that's scattered over everybody's farm.
Including tons of shale washed onto his land.
For pasture-intensive businesses, like the pasture can actually become unpalatable to livestock for quite a period of time after a flood.
Anthony Albanese announcing federal funding for flood-affected communities. For those whose properties were inundated, $1,000 for adults and $400 for children, plus extra help for those who've lost income as a result of the floods.
All of these payments are available. People can apply online.
His whistle-stop tour also taking in the stricken Deloraine Football Club, thanking some of those responsible for the clean-up.
Tracy, President.
Hi, how you going?
And those keeping Tasmanians safe during trying times.
Thanks for your service, Doug. Sure.
As well as meeting some of the friendly locals.
We have farmers, we have local community groups, all pitching in, helping their neighbours, helping their community to clean up, helping their community to stay safe.
Today's visit allowing the Prime Minister to see flood damage firsthand, with a long road to recovery for some Tasmanian farmers. A further announcement of a revamped federal disaster ready fund also in the works to help build and maintain critical infrastructure.
And that'll be available to invest up to $200 million a year, each and every year, by the federal government in projects like flood levies and drainage improvements.
Farmers hoping the grass will be greener on the other side. Annie Green, 7 Tasmania News.
The Prime Minister has dodged questions on whether the federal government is willing to throw funds behind a new stadium in Hobart. It comes as State Labor aired concerns in Parliament on what the decision will mean for northern sporting opportunities.
Bold in his backing of Tasmania being truly recognised as an AFL state.
I support Tasmania getting a football team. I think it would be fantastic for this great state to have a team in the AFL.
But our nation's leader remained tight-lipped on whether his government is willing to chip in to build a multi-purpose stadium.
We look at projects on their merit. We work cooperatively with different levels of government on proposals, and when we make commitments are on the basis of a proper business case.
The federal funds are something the state government can't do without, as the proposal continues to cause a stir among political opponents.
Can you see why Tasmanians in the north don't trust you to look out for their interests?
Again, the centre of debate in the lower house, the Labor leader went on the chase for answers.
Do you think sporting content should be moved from Launceston to Hobart just because it's the capital city?
We want more opportunities for the north. That's right, Mr. Speaker. That's what a 19th licence will deliver.
Macquarie Point on Hobart's waterfront is the agreed-upon site for the stadium. Whether it becomes a reality depends on Tasmania's AFL bid, which is still yet to be ticked off. Research suggests a 23,000-seat facility could generate $300 million in additional economic activity, a prediction the Premier wants everyone to embrace.
We have to unite as a state.
Yes. How many games
cannot afford
in the north
to pick off each other?
Grace Evans, 7 Tasmania News.
Many Tasmanian children will be quick into bed tonight, eagerly awaiting the Royal Hobart Show, which kicks off tomorrow. This year's event running across 5 different locations with crowd limits scrapped.
We'll have plenty happening across the regatta grounds, the showgrounds and up at Campbelltown the following week, as well as at City Hall in town.
From classic carnival rides through to food stands and animal judging, there's something to suit all ages. One of the main attractions, a dinosaur zoo.
Children really are fascinated with dinosaurs, and so we give them exactly what they want. We don't dumb things down, we try and stick with the science.
Organisers hoping a bit of wet weather won't stop the crowds from revelling in the Friday night fireworks. A magical music festival will make its post-pandemic return to the stage tonight, showcasing Australian and international talent. The Tasmanian Chamber Music Festival will hit all the right notes, launching at Falls Pavilion in Evandale before travelling to Westbury tomorrow.
It's the sound of music. Ringing in the Tasmanian Chamber Music Festival after a 3-year hiatus.
It's just wonderful to hear live music again. I think the musicians had a really hard time for 2 years.
International artists making their way to Evandale, Westbury and Longford, including London-based Piers Lane.
I'm absolutely thrilled. I played in the first Tasmanian Chamber Festival 5 years ago, 2017. It's wonderful to be back here.
Playing a string of classics with Sydney-based Goldner String Quartet.
Wednesday and Friday nights we're doing the Brahms Quintet together. The quartet are playing a Schumann quintet, so wonderful romantic music, wonderfully dramatic pieces as well.
Putting emotion and passion on display across 6 days.
We have like a concert crawl around Westbury. So starting in the Catholic Church with Claire Edwards on percussion. Then we have a lovely lunch on the village green. Then we go to the Anglican Church and hear a harp and flute.
Offering a variety of symphonic sounds in intimate settings.
Festivals bring people together. They're great places for people to get to know each other.
It somehow hits the emotion in your heart and, for me, has a healing process.
Tugging on Tasmania's heartstrings from the first note to the last. McKenna Bailey, 7 Tasmania News.
Tasmania's governor has had tails wagging, planting one of 1,000 trees at a Hobart Dogs Home. It's part of a nationwide program to honour the late Queen, who, during her reign, planted more than 1,500 trees around the world.
These four-legged gentlemen dressed in their best and waiting patiently for the arrival of Her Excellency, the Honourable Barbara Baker.
Don and I have links to the Dogs Home, including adopting our two precious dogs, Molly and Ben, who were once residents here.
People often think the worst of coming to the pound to adopt a dog. We have dogs from all walks of life. A lot of them are really well loved and cared for before they came to us, and they're just looking for a second chance.
The Governor getting her hands dirty and unveiling a plaque as part of the Planting Trees for the Queen's Jubilee program.
Having more trees is beneficial not only for the environment to reduce the soil erosion, but also beneficial for the dogs.
Employees, volunteers and school students aiming to grow 1,000 native eucalyptus.
The Friends school group did about 300 trees in the pouring rain. They were lovely kids.
The new roots a welcome addition to their safari path lining the outside of the facility.
We have little sniff stations along the way where we've got lots of novel scents and stimuli for dogs to just have a relaxing stroll around.
It's a shelter environment, a lot's going on. And we get out on the walk, and about 15 minutes into the walk you can feel them relax.
The public can book in for their own safari session through the Dogs Home's website. Brianna Boylan, 7 Tasmania News.
Final preparations are underway ahead of Friday's world premiere of Tasdance's Tuilupa. The show uses dance, music and projections to tell the story of the Palawa people and the island of Tasmania. Performers were meant to take to the stage at this year's Mona Foma, but organisers cancelled over COVID concerns.
Good evening. The Tassie Tigers have triumphed on the final day of their Sheffield Shield clash against South Australia. Entering day 4, there was plenty of movement with the bat and ball at Adelaide Oval, with the Tigers in prime position to seize the innings, needing just 131 runs. Caleb Jewell came to the crease with confidence and carried his bat to score 108 not out.
Gets into position, and that might go all the way, and that's his 100, so well played. Caleb Jewell, great way to bring up a century. Tassie on the verge of an outright win.
While Peter Siddle was named player of the match for his 8 wickets from both innings. Tasmania winning by 7 wickets. Meanwhile, Blunston Arena hosted a thrilling clash between Scotland and Ireland this afternoon as the ICC Men's T20 World Cup entered day 3. The Scots batting first with 5 out for 176, with Michael Jones securing a rapid half-century.
The 50 comes up for Jones off 38 balls, 4 fours, 2 sixes, striking at 131 on his first in T20 international cricket.
Although it wasn't enough, with Ireland chasing down the target, claiming victory by 6 wickets a short time ago. The West Indies and Zimbabwe will go head-to-head later tonight. The Tassie Tigers are putting in the final preparations ahead of their Hockey 1 clashes against Canberra tomorrow night. Both the men and women's sides will suit up in front of a home crowd in what will be a special occasion for one young rising star who is eager to make her senior debut.
Obviously a few nerves, but it should be really good to get in front of a home crowd and see family and friends in the crowd, so yeah, really excited.
On paper we match up really well and are stronger, but you know, they've got a really good flick and a really good goalkeeper, and that's something that can be quite dangerous.
Both teams will be looking to get on the board early in round 4 as they look to secure their ladder positions. 10 medals were up for grabs today at the Special Olympics in Launceston, with 9 out of 10 sports featured on day 3 of the sporting extravaganza. Swimming was a crowd favourite. Halfway mark of the Games, with competition wrapping up on Friday.
Good evening. Temperatures 1 to 3 degrees above average today for most of the state, apart from the north sitting 1 to 3 below average. Hobart and Burnie both 19 today, Launceston 20 and Devonport 17. 23 the high today, recorded at Bushy Park and Ouse, Smithton and St Helens 22, 21 at the Friendly Beaches, Lyoweeney 19, 18 at Strawn and also King Island, Flinders and Maria Islands 17, 17 also at Low Head and 15 for the Harts Mountains today. Low clouds seen today, mostly clearing and contracting to the southwest during the day. Middle to upper level cloud is over southern Queensland, New South Wales and eastern South Australia, and thunderstorm cloud can be seen in a band over western New South Wales. Tomorrow, a high pressure centre over the Tasman Sea extends a ridge of high pressure over Tasmania, bringing warm and settled weather to the state. Hooray! A large low pressure system lies over New South Wales, South Australia and Queensland, extending a trough over the north and west of the continent, while a cold front brushes the far southwest of WA. West to southwesterly winds 10 to 20 knots, tending east to southeasterly during the day, then east to northeasterly 15 to 25 knots. Swells below 1 metre in the north and up to 4 metres about the west and south. There is a strong wind warning for the southeast coast of Tasmania tomorrow. 18 tomorrow in both Hobart and Cygnet, partly cloudy. Also partly cloudy at New Norfolk, 21. A warm one coming up in Launceston, sunny and 24. Mostly sunny in Devonport, 19, 22 degrees for Campbelltown and sunny. Sunny in Burnie, 17, Strawn, cloud clearing, 21, and sunny in Smithton, 20 degrees. St Helens, 17, becoming cloudy, Swansea, 17, and partly cloudy at Fingal, 19. We are expecting a UV of 6 tomorrow, and that is in the high range. The sun is up at 6:15 tomorrow morning. Showers developing about the north during the morning on Friday, then extending statewide during the afternoon. Saturday, showers across the state with isolated thunderstorms about eastern and central areas. And Sunday, those statewide showers easing during the day. Showers and a possible storm in Darwin tomorrow, 34. Showers in Sydney, Brisbane and Cairns. Melbourne, mostly sunny, 23. And a possible shower in Adelaide, 23 degrees. Right now in Hobart it's sunny and 15, Launceston sunny and 17 and Devonport sunny and 17. And that's your weather forecast for tonight, Kim.
Okay, thank you very much, Carmen. That is all your news for now. If you're off to the Hobart show tomorrow, enjoy the day out. For now, from the team, it's good night.